It is the most wonderful human adventure, the Divan. I've learned musically that so many of the things that for me seem absolutely natural, that I have to explain to them. So it taught me to think about what I thought I knew or felt in a different way. And it taught me humanly, about human nature, so much about the fear of the other. And I have learned so much to see how they overcome these things and how they are able to put aside things that they feel they cannot overcome. The music, although it was written by Beethoven in Bonn or in Vienna, it speaks to people in Ramallah, in Australia, and everywhere else. Music is for all. Music is for everybody. Anybody who opens his mind and heart to it can get something out of music.
You can see total democracy and you can see a totally humanitarian philosophy in Beethoven's music. You know, zero ego, and you know, how the main voice travels around the orchestra and how the other voices supports it and how this whole thing moves around, and this is how it should be in life, you know. This is how I should shut up and listen to the other. But I think therefore Beethoven is the perfect music for Divan.
I think it's just incredible that piece of music that was written so long ago is still alive and can connect so many different people. I mean, it sounds simple, but when you think about it, it's just incredible.
I find two qualities that Beethoven needs: persistence and determination. And these are two qualities that Barenboim possesses, and the nature of the project also possesses.
8th Symphony, please. Making music together means to listen to the other.
And the way he teaches us to make this apparent to the audience, it's of course unbelievable.
I know sometimes it is beneath good musicians to look at the conductor, but once in a while.
Das ist für Musiker ein Traum. Also Barenboim hat in seinem Leben Beethoven, er ist sehr berühmt für seine Beethoven-Interpretation und hat trotzdem die Symphonie nur einmal aufgenommen. Und dass er uns diese Ehre gibt und diesem Vertrauen einfach, das muss man auch sagen, dass er uns sehr viel vertraut. Wir finden uns sehr geehrt, dass er dieses Projekt mit uns macht.
Be careful in the winds, you are not really strict, rigorous in the rhythm. Ba-bam, ba-bam. It gets a little bit Middle Eastern. It's not good here. let's face it, the CD market does not need another Beethoven cycle. There's so many wonderful ones. But I think the Beethoven symphonies with the Divan Orchestra is in some ways different. It is different in the sense that there is a terrific amount of energy because of the youth of the people, but there is just as much rigor.
If you look at the development of the symphonies and the way Beethoven writing and orchestrating, it's huge from the first to the ninth. You know, it's a huge thing. And if you think of the extreme way that this orchestra grew up in the last 10 years, starting from a small project of students basically, and we all grew up. So that's the maturity that the orchestra evolved in the last 10 years. As parallel to the maturity of Beethoven, so how he evolves with the symphonies, and it's quite nice to feel that.
Nicht so schlecht. Nicht so schlecht.
Bravo. All of you playing long values are getting heavier and stop. All of you playing long values are getting heavier and slowing the whole thing down.
The West Eastern Divan Orchestra was founded in 1999 by the late Edward Said and me as a forum for young musicians from all the different countries of the Middle East, therefore Palestine, Israel, Syria, Jordan, Egypt, etc., Lebanon, to come together and have an opportunity to make music together, and this way to fight against the ignorance there is of the other.
Maestro, why is it important for you to meet the people here, for you to be here?
You know, some people have to make politics. I'm not a politician, I don't make politics. I think what I can do is bring music to them and listen to them, and maybe thereby reduce, at least for a short time, the level of hatred. For me, that's important. I hope it's for them too.
We don't even get to meet these people. Not to say even play, but we don't get to see these people from places like Syria, Lebanon. It's such an incredible experience to just meet them face to face, let alone play with them. So it's always so interesting.
Look, it's simple. This idea of bringing together Arabs and Israelis, of course, is really nice, and it's really attractive for people, and not attractive for some people, you know. But I mean, for me, I thought it's a great forum to do amazing music, and at the same time be able to discuss the things that we care a lot about and that occupy a lot of our time and attention in life, and actually dictate how we are as human beings.
The
I think from the moment he created it with Edward Said at the time, I think it's the idea behind it to have music as to not use music, but to have people play music and through music understand things better about their own lives, about their own stories, and even about the music itself. Obviously, I think this is the central idea behind it, and I think that's what drives him. He always says that it's the most important thing that he does now, so of course he puts all his energy behind it.
I suffer every day from this conflict. I feel worse every day that goes by how it has developed. I feel that Divan gives me the possibilities to deal with all the things that I think are wrong, or the things that I think I would do differently in the world. And I can also, in my own very small way, and I know, and there is no false modesty, a very small way, bring my little contribution to a maybe possible way of looking at the conflict differently.
The world will not protect, but it makes it more longer,
So
more and more.
imagine that you live in Israel and how you can protect yourself.
By make real things to for example, there's a lot of places I know that everybody go out now, the Arabs go outside, so maybe no, the discussion will not work. I don't know, but it's not, but it's not the war.
Since this orchestra is basically based on an idea that we agree to disagree, because we're not here to convince each other that we are right, but we're here to understand the narrative of the other and understand where his point of view comes from. So basically what we do need, since we agree to disagree, we do need a very strong feeling on stage that we think alike, at least musically. And I think that's what makes the orchestra so special, because when you work with Maestro Barenboim, you really, I think one of his main goals is that we all think alike and breathe in the same way, like one big lung.
Well, it's what I feel in general about playing with the Divan, that it has a greater significance beyond just any orchestra because of who we are and what we stand for. It gives it a whole meaning. Before coming to Divan, I was living in Israel, of course, and I had my world, which did not include any Arabs in it. I mean, there are people living in Israel, but I never had much contact with them. In the beginning, before really meeting the Arabs, I was very scared of them because the only thing I knew about them is that they're terrorists and that they do terrible things to my people.
I mean, the standard view on both sides is that these people hate us, punkt, and that's it, right? And you just don't understand what the other side is even thinking half the time, right? And you're not even used to thinking about the other side in any way as people. You just think of them as a side, right? As a flag, right? As an enemy. I think Divan has to show you, it has to make you feel very intensely that these people, even though they are your enemy, that you want to feel positively about them. And I think that's what the Divan does.
Ever since I'm in Divan, of course I have created friendships with Arab people.
For me, it was eye-opening in the sense that you saw that it wasn't just one big mass of people who hate you, right? It's not as if, there's this big Israeli group and they just dislike you. No, it's not like that.
Some of them living 1 hour away from here by car, or 2 hours. And it's impossible to just meet them outside of Divan. We can't just meet each other in our own countries.
No, I cannot travel to Israel, actually. No. I mean, if I travel to Israel and they see the stamp, then I would be expelled from Beirut. Actually, I wouldn't be able to come in.
And one of them is very far away. The other one is, both are far, is the point. Flying the plane.
I mean, it's a good idea for communicating, like just trying to make bridge between both culture, but it depends, like the political side, how it goes. This is which is the problems, I think, which causes about it.
In March. عصير زيتون بعده كتير لا
I'm an ambassador in the sense that people really like the idea in the beginning, right? And they don't understand how much work is involved behind it. Because really, it's one of those things where you can think, okay, it's just a bunch of Arabs and Israelis playing together, whoop-de-doo. But no, really, there's a lot of work involved. And I've tried to make that clear.
Because it's in the media, you get bombarded with things going on and politics, and it's tiring, I just want to live a life and not have all these troubles. And but that's just what we have, This is what these are our countries, and we can't really escape it. So I try sort of to find a balance between how much I live these politics and how much I stay away from them just to stay sane.
And of course, even aside from that, I have many friends now there, so I see them in the summer, but I can't see them otherwise. It's annoying.
Now that we have Facebook, it's an amazing thing. We do stay in touch. Yeah, that's actually the amazing thing, and what has led to all these new changes in the whole Middle East. The fact that technology allows us to communicate with each other and not just to communicate through our politicians, which is an amazing thing, really. So that actually gives me some hope for the future, because the world is getting so close and so small that maybe, all the borders and countries and will turn so insignificant one day. I hope.
Finally, the Divan, you can only achieve these things on a person-to-person basis, right? People have to come in the first place, and they have to come not as representative of Israel or Palestine or Jordan or what have you. They come as themselves, right? And they come to make music.
The cello and the bass a little bit too long on the syncopation. Be pa pa, and then we run. Okay, that will just be that we watch and try to play less in the first half of the bar so that you have more crescendo possibility in the second half. Don't play yaga daga daga daga. Then you can go yaga daga 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 yaga daga 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 daga. Really like an explosion. Okay.
For him, Beethoven is very important because it teaches you a lot about how to play an orchestra. It's a very good, like if you take a Beethoven symphony and you try to play it in the way it should be played, you learn a lot about how to play an orchestra.
That's not an eighth note, but at least an 11th. What's going on? I started too slow. I'm sorry. What are the pieces that would make the orchestra grow and that would mean something educationally very important for each member of the orchestra? And I thought the Beethoven symphonies is really such a factor, because if you really learn to get into the Beethoven symphony and see all the different aspects and all the different connections in that, you learn something for anything you play. Almost every year we had another Beethoven symphony. Otherwise, we would not have been able to play all the Beethoven symphonies in one go either.
And I think Beethoven was writing a lot with a lot of philosophical ideas and a lot of new ways to touch people. You know, if you look at his marking in the music, I mean, the fortissimo and the fortissimo, and they all have to be different. And he really stretches everything to a new extreme way. And I think it suits what this orchestra is about, because we try to go to the extreme in the dialogue. We try to go to new places in our imagination, and this orchestra creates a platform for us.
Beethoven's music is just full of the energy, full of drama, full of, different dynamics and all that. And of course, Mr. Barenboim is a master of bringing those different dynamics and all the drama, bringing it to fruition,
Beethoven symphonies were at the core of my activities with the Divan, and I think that they bring something very special to it. They bring something very special to it because they have, for good or for bad, learned to play it only in this way. I feel that I have put into this whatever I know, think, and feel about music, and they have completely absorbed this and helped me to realize it in such a way. It is a very profound satisfaction for me to do the Beethoven symphonies with the Divan.
Natürlich, der Maestro Barenboim ist auch sehr bekannt, dass er kompromisslos, wenn er Musik macht. Also der erwartet von uns das Niveau von 500 Jahren Profi-Orchester, alten Profi-Orchestern.
We can't go on like this. It's the last day. We have to get good. We can't do that. If you are tired, it's rather you don't play. Those of you who are tired, don't play. But if you can't watch in the critical places, there's no point. There's no point.
Aber das macht die Sache noch spannender auf der Bühne, dass man jeden Abend einfach vorbildlich von ihm bekommt, diese extreme Konzentration, immer auf dem Punkt zu sein, nie so das genießen, was man erreicht hat, sondern immer ganz klein wieder gegenüber der Musik einfach zu stehen.
Don't play like this. Keep your eyes up. If your ears are closed, open your eyes. It's always the same. Always the same thing.
He wouldn't get angry at anyone for not understanding something or making a mistake, but he would get very angry at someone not trying hard enough or not paying attention. And that's something that made me also understand how important it is to really work to the detail and to always be aware of what you're doing and not just play automatically. That's something that he hates, and of course that's why the music always sounds fresh when we play, because we don't play yesterday's concert again. We make it new every time.
We all live in our respective countries. We work or study or do whatever we have to do. And we meet, it's always in summer, in July.
Well, every year we have symposium where we invite people from the outside. This year, the subject of the symposium was the Arab Spring, because it, of course, affects everybody. It affects the Arabs, it affects the Israelis. And we had people from Cairo and from Syria. The music is not the same anymore. It's not just a modulation that goes somewhere else, it simply stops the proceeding.
From Der'a. In Der'a, children with an average of 12 to 13 years old wrote on walls of Der'a الشعب يريد إسقاط النظام. The same slogan that was used in Tunisia and Egypt. The people wants to topple the regime or wants the regime to fall. These children were arrested, were brutally tortured, and their parents went to the police station, their fathers in fact, went to the police station asking for their release, and the officer there told them, go back to your wives and make other children. And this incident, this event, of course, created not only anger, but it was...
Over, almost 6 years that I've been in the orchestra, I somewhat developed my background about the conflict. Very much so, because we get access to a lot of information here, not to mention people's personal experiences, but also we have really, really unique guests.
When we played it in Korea, it was amazing, really. I feel when we played in the security zone between North and South Korea, and every time we played this. It's really, I don't know. You really feel what you want to transmit, what Beethoven was thinking, a message of brothership. It's incredible with this kind of music. It's very easy to go with these feelings and to show this message that we want to transmit from all the musicians.
Das hat mich berührt bei den Koreanern. Wie sie das ausgedrückt haben. Also die Solisten waren Koreaner und man hat es schon gespürt von jedem. Aber da in Korea war was Besonderes. Sie können aber dafür mit ein paar Noten die Welt nicht ändern oder die Geografik auf keinen Fall. Ob es für die Koreaner oder ob es im Nahen Osten oder... Ja, also es ist wirklich ganz spannend, dass wir nicht mehr als ein Symbol sein können. Aber das reicht schon, es ist schon sehr viel, wir geben uns sehr viel Mühe.
Very nice time.
All these things, again, they happen on a human level. Once you are able to take off the title from the forehead of the person next in front of you, you see a beautiful girl as a beautiful girl. You see a funny guy as a funny guy. You see an attractive person as an attractive person. It's on a human level, really. But this is why he calls it a human project, because it suddenly reminds people that you're also dealing with humans.
The whole purpose of the orchestra is actually to get as close as we can to play in the countries that we come from. That makes sense, not only going around the world, but actually being in our region.
For me, actually, the experience of going to Ramallah was very, very strong because I think that it was the first time that the orchestra actually performed in our region.
The musicians wanted to go. I didn't force anybody to go. I didn't force any single musician to go. They wanted to go. And there were some that were hesitant. And of course, also when they saw that I was taking my own son, who is the concertmaster of the orchestra, I think they got a positive feeling from that too. But it was not easy.
The plan was it will be the last concert if it takes place. You know, we said goodbye just in case it won't take place and we won't see each other.
The orchestra was split to go there. The Arabs and some of the Spanish went to Amman, and went to the Allenby Bridge, to the occupied territories. And the Israelis flew to Tel Aviv.
We were in Jerusalem the night before, and the next day, the diplomatic cars came to pick us up, and it was like a 20-minute drive, and we were in Ramallah. And it was amazing.
Very good, very good. You see, the impossible is much easier than the difficult. I had friends in Ramallah that I trusted, that gave me, if you want, a human, not a formal, but a human guarantee that the security will be all right. And I trusted these people. Without this trust, I would not have done that.
Somehow, I don't know, Barenboim somehow makes miracles. He has a way of getting things done that I've never saw anyone do what he does.
We did convey a message that we can sit on the same stage and perform together without, fighting or arguing. It was our mutual language. And this is the message that by taking part of this orchestra, I would like to convey, is that we can actually communicate. And from there on, we can go on.
Well, it was very, very emotional also because that was the end of our tour. We were touring together for 1.5 months. And after this concert, we didn't even have time to say goodbye to each other. They quickly rushed us out. And that was it.
wonderful job.
Ich glaube, um einen Konflikt zu lösen, gibt verschiedene Wege. Und ich glaube, unser Konflikt im Nahen Osten hat von 48, von der Gründung Staat Israel, bis heute, 2012, sie haben immer, bis jetzt wurde nur ein Weg probiert. Und das war der Weg der Krieg, ja, des Krieges, ein Weg der Gewalt. Gewalt hat genug Platz genommen in der Geschichte und ich glaube, es wäre einfach, das wäre naiv und Ignoranz, wenn man nicht mal sagt, ich habe das 1000-mal probiert und es hat nichts gebracht. Warum probiere ich nicht was anderes?
I think it's just that there is more than one side of the story. That you always need to hear the other side of the story. Doesn't matter if you agree or you don't agree, but there is always a second, different side.
I mean, you don't have to agree. I mean, of course, there are two sides for this, but just when you even start hearing the other side, it's enough. You start to understand better and to get the whole picture better.
Every wall we build to ourselves for our protection is at the same time a wall that is stopping us from developing. Because the moment you build a wall, it means you don't want to discuss the matter. And that's the tragedy about it.
Das Erlebnis einfach auf der Bühne jeden Abend 2 Symphonien zu spielen braucht ganz viel Konzentration und ganz viel Selbstverständlichkeit. Also dass man einfach auf die Bühne geht und das Gefühl hat, ich mache die Musik neu, obwohl ich die Musik sehr gut kenne. Man darf Spontanität nicht verlieren, aber gleichzeitig nie sagen, die Musik ist einfach, ich kann das, ich habe das 1000-mal gespielt und das geht.
Ja, schon fast ein bisschen Festivalcharakter. Und ich könnte mir gut vorstellen, dass man eben durch diese Atmosphäre auch gerade viele junge Leute für Klassik begeistern kann.
Ich finde, das ist die Möglichkeit überhaupt, über Kunst und insbesondere über Musik eigentlich Menschen zu verbinden. Ne? Weil die in die Herzen gehen und die Herzen sind eigentlich für allen Menschen gleich.
Wir bewundern grundsätzlich das Engagement von Barenboim. Ein Mann, ein Musiker dieser Klasse, sich manchmal auch mit Einsatz seines Lebens engagiert für Gazastreifen und Palästinenser und Israel. Also wir finden das ganz beeindruckend.
So of course the Beethoven, the Ninth Symphony, the whole text and everything, how it connects to freedom and the will to be as free people and this Freude, the happiness and everything. So of course, but it's because we have a text. And the complicity of Beethoven's music, it's very much like people that are integrating together to create something. So it's like the orchestra as well.
There is a collective energy that grows out of them. And the fact that many of them have come already for so many years so that they are above the sort of first acquaintance, which brings with it also inevitably certain insecurities and things. That's all over, it's all done with. The momentum is huge.
I mean, here's a great composer that is so promising and all that, and he's losing his hearing, and I mean, that's just a catastrophe for him personally. But he overcame that somehow. And in fact, the best music he wrote is when he was really deaf. So it gives us, I think, a little hope in terms of maybe there is a possibility after all the suffering and humiliations and killings on both sides and the violence, that there is light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, and there is a possible that the human spirit eventually will succeed.
Oh yes.
We play and we finish the last note. We get off. As soon as we get off the stage, there's the beer thing, and it's funny. I know we laugh about it, but maybe that's contributing to more of the music off stage, so to speak, after the concert, and the dancing and the interaction between the Israelis and the Arabs and the Spanish.
No dancing, no play. No dancing, no play.
No, but where is what is that? Come on, you bitch. Come on, you bitch. This is competition. Come on.
Warm-blooded people, and we have a lot of energy, and yeah, we had to somehow take out all the stress that was accumulated in the very hard work that we did in making these recordings and concerts, where we have to be very exact and very concentrated. So of course afterwards we just let go.
Eventually, we're also like simple human beings. And when it comes down to it, also, we are here also as, we just want to be somehow. It's 5 weeks of our summer, and sometimes you need to just be. And it's also something important that people need to understand, is that we're not always here in the mentality that I'm Palestinian and I'm Israeli or I'm Lebanese and this is what I need to represent all the time. Sometimes I'm just me, a human being, and it's also a very important thing. It's very rare that we are human beings in this orchestra, but there are moments.
The hope is to have calm situation with no war, no bombings, no real conflict. That's a good situation when it's calm. But now it's not in Israel. Now it's not. So I'm coming back to a state of war almost. But we have music. So most of my power is from music making. It's an escape from reality sometimes.
Single rooms in hotels. Serious. It's a big achievement we really hope for. I'm sorry.
You're just embarrassing, you know.
Fürs Orchester, ich hoffe, dass es weiter existiert und dass wir weiter diese wunderbaren Momente erleben können und weiter Musik machen können und dass wir in der Zukunft, also auch nicht so lange noch dauert, dass wir in unseren Ländern spielen können und unseren Völkern auch dieses Beispiel nach Hause bringen können und zeigen können, wie schön das funktionieren könnte, wenn man einfach das erlaubt oder wenn man einfach ein bisschen Hass zur Seite lässt und versucht, mal neu anzufangen.
I wish someday, there is some sort of agreement, one state solution, two state solution, whatever, and the wall comes down. Okay, and they sign an agreement for that, and we play in the ceremony. That's my dream for Divan. But everything starts with a dream. Single rooms.
If people get 1/10 of the satisfaction that we had when we played them by listening to it, then I will be happy. But there must be many of those.